The niece says Booker showed her around his apartment.
I told him I need to use the bathroom. He told me to wait, and he goes in and clean up some more.
That same bathroom, forensic scientist with Michigan State Police Tony Grusser says traces of blood were found in multiple spots.
She said she'd be home soon. Just a quick errand, a short stop, nothing unusual. But the day slipped into night, her phone went silent, and her two young boys waited by the window for a mother who never came back. This is the heartbreaking disappearance and presumed murder of 30-year-old Ashley Lachey Elkins, a loving mother, a hairstylist, and a woman whose final moments remain hidden behind the walls of an apartment she should have never entered. Introduction. At the start of January 2025, as families returned to their routines after the holidays, the community of Warren, Michigan, was suddenly shaken when Ashley vanished without a trace. To her friends and family, this wasn't some mystery in the making. It was a nightmare. Ashley was responsible, deeply attached to her children, and the kind of person who would always check in. For her to disappear wasn't just unusual, it was impossible.
The missing Warren mother of two disappeared, launching a multi-city search. Police say Elkins was last seen January 2nd at her ex-boyfriend's Roseville apartment.
Her disappearance quickly grew into one of Michigan's most disturbing investigations of the year, involving abandoned vehicles, surveillance footage, blood evidence.
And Elkins' mom, Monica, says she last heard from her daughter January 1st. She claims she became worried when Elkins didn't respond to her numerous text messages or calls, which was unlike
and an ex-boyfriend whose story unraveled faster than he could hide the truth. The last day anyone saw her, January 2nd, 2025. Ashley left her home that morning saying she needed to run to the beauty supply store. She later told a family member she was on her way back. It was a normal day, nothing alarming, nothing tense. But somewhere between that drive and the neighborhoods outside Detroit, something went horrifically wrong. Her phone last pinged near an apartment complex in Roseville, a place connected to her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Howard Booker.
I'm standing out back of Ashley's ex-boyfriend's Roseville apartment. This was the last place Ashley was, according to police.
The relationship had ended the previous year, but investigators would later learn it ended with tension and concern. When Ashley didn't come home, her family immediately went into panic mode.
Search is still on for any sign of Ashley Elkins. Family spokesperson Maurice Morton told us what people should remember most about his niece.
Beautiful young lady. You know, remember mostly that she is a mother of a 10-year-old and 7-year-old. So you have two young boys out there who don't have a mother.
She had two little boys who depended on her. She was not someone who went silent or disappeared willingly. Hours later, police located her gray Chevy Malibu abandoned near Booker's apartment building. The engine was off, the car was locked, and Ashley was nowhere near it. The first clues of foul play. Detectives moved quickly. Security cameras from the area revealed that Ashley had arrived at Booker's apartment earlier that day. But what they didn't see was her leaving. Not once. Not ever. Instead, the cameras showed Booker, not Ashley, driving her car later that afternoon. He walked out of his apartment, got into her vehicle, and casually drove away.
Police say her phone last pinged inside a Roseville apartment belonging to Booker, but they didn't find the pair. Investigators would later learn Booker's search history revealed he planned to go on the run before being arrested in Flint.
This detail was enough for investigators to question him immediately.
So far, no one is charged in Elkins' death, but investigators searched the home of her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker, in connection to this case.
Booker gave multiple different stories, contradicting himself over and over. His accounts made no sense. Police arrested him by January 8th, initially only for lying to investigators.
Then on January 9th, DeAndre Booker was arrested in Flint and charged with lying to police.
But they knew something more sinister had happened. They just needed proof. And it didn't take long to find it. The horrifying discovery inside the apartment. When detectives searched Booker's apartment, what they found confirmed everyone's worst fear.
Police not only took the dumpster, they also combed inside and outside of the ex-boyfriend DeAndre Booker's apartment here.
Inside the bathroom, officers discovered a significant amount of blood, enough that investigators immediately described it as evidence of serious injury or worse. Forensic testing later verified it belonged to Ashley Elkins.
We conduct a search warrant on the residence and ultimately find what we believe to be a large crime scene with a substantial amount of blood in the bathroom. DNA confirms that the blood did in fact belong to the victim.
This wasn't a small accident. This was violence, brutal, intentional, and impossible to ignore. Further investigation revealed something even more disturbing. Surveillance footage showed Booker struggling to lift a heavy object wrapped in a bedsheet. At one point, what looked like a human arm hung out from the sheet.
Booker's niece also mentioned during her testimony two things that stood out to her that day. A rug rolled up in his living room, and he asked her if he turns off his phone, would anyone be able to track his location?
Booker then dumped this into a dumpster behind the complex. By the time officers traced the dumpster route, its contents had already been transferred to a landfill.
It was a dumpster just like this one that was confiscated a few weeks ago by police during a search. And we now, just as of this afternoon, have those results back. Police telling us that the DNA found inside the dumpster is a match for Ashley's DNA.
For days, search teams combed through mountains of debris, hoping to recover Ashley's remains. But the search came up empty. To this day, her body still hasn't been found. Charges, and what prosecutors believe happened. As evidence mounted, prosecutors finally took decisive action. On January 31st, 2025, Booker was formally charged with first-degree premeditated murder, dismemberment, and mutilation of a corpse, tampering with evidence, concealing a death. He was denied bond and remains behind bars as the case continues to move forward. Prosecutors believe Ashley went to Booker's apartment unaware of the danger she was in. What happened inside that bathroom is still unknown. There were no witnesses, no audio, no cameras inside the apartment. But the blood evidence, the surveillance footage, and the disposal attempts form a tragic timeline that prosecutors say points to intentional murder.
Last week, we learned about the bloody scene inside Booker's bathroom that came back positive for Ashley Elkins' DNA, leading to the first-degree murder charge. We also learned that labs are processing evidence collected during the search of the Pine Tree Acres landfill.
The family's heartbreak. While investigators built their case, Ashley's family lived in pure agony. Her two boys struggled to understand why their mother hadn't returned. In one interview, a family member said the youngest child continued to ask, is mom coming home today?
Youngest boy is 7, he's autistic. So he's still asking her, like, if the phone rings, that my mom. If somebody comes to the door, is that my mom? So he doesn't understand yet.
Those words broke hearts across the community. Ashley wasn't just a headline. She was a mother who made dinner, who braided hair, who laughed loudly, who worked hard to provide stability for her kids. Vigils were held, posters were printed, fundraisers were started to support her children, and people across Michigan followed every update, hoping for a miracle, or, at the very least, a chance to bring Ashley home. But as weeks passed, one painful truth became clear. They may never recover her remains.
How would you classify the search that took place in that landfill during that week?
It would have been like looking for a needle in a haystack. There was that much area and that much material to move.
A story that still needs peace. The case of Ashley Lachey Elkins is tragic, not only because of the violence she endured, but because the story remains incomplete.
Police have not been able to find Ashley's body. When investigators were executing a search warrant at her ex-boyfriend's apartment, they took a dumpster into evidence. Then they spent a week searching the Pine Tree Acres landfill in Lenox Township, but wasn't able to locate her.
A mother vanished, a family shattered, and justice still unfolding in the courts. Ashley's life mattered, her story matters. And until her body is found, her family can't give her the goodbye she deserves. For now, all they have is hope. Hope that someone will come forward, hope that evidence will surface, and hope that Ashley's memory will continue to shine brighter than the darkness that took her away. If you found this story gripping, please like this video, comment your thoughts on how you think justice will unfold, and don't forget to subscribe to Judge Wire for more real-life crime stories like this.